In August 2001, Glitter the soundtrack was released. There are so many things missing before this era even began, but one big positive, Mariah is finally free from Columbia and the control of Tommy Mottola. She signed a massive contract with Virgin Records, but that's when things started to go south. For one, there were questions about her mental health after she showed up to TRL uninvited, giving out ice cream, promoting glitter, and stripping down to a more revealing outfit. Shortly after, Mariah was hospitalized due to exhaustion and was placed under hospital care for 2 weeks. While the soundtrack was released on time, the movie itself was pushed back till after the 9/11 attacks, and as a result, the movie was a critical and commercial bomb because no one really wanted to do fun things after 9/11, acts would afford. Mariah became a Razzie Award winning actress shortly after, but years later, the soundtrack got a second life when hashtag Justice for Glitter campaign was trending, as fans realized that that era was misunderstood. Was it misunderstood or was it justified? Stay tuned to find out. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. So there are 2 Loverboy songs on this soundtrack, and with the remix being the lead off track. I already mentioned in one video that this song is pretty bad, but I only talked about the standard version. I could talk about the remix which features Ludacris, Da Brat, Shawnna, and 22, the latter of which I've never heard of. They don't add nor take away from the song. Luda's verse, while trying to keep it in theme of glitter, felt as it could be featured in any other Ludacris song, as he and Shawnna don't have any chemistry as they try to interplay with each other. Meanwhile, 22 is trying to interplay with Da Brat, and she completely washes him, even with that cringe Butterfinger lines. Well, with or without the rap verses, this song is still bad. This is the ballad that saw the return of Walter Affenseef as writer and producer, but there isn't much to the content. It's pretty much self-explanatory, with this being a piano ballad and Mariah sounding superior on the vocals per usual. This one's good, and take the good where you could get it. This song is basically a Ja Rule song with Nate Dogg and Mariah as featured guests. And since this was a soundtrack, and this won't be the last song that will have this instance, this song's a mess. Ja Rule sounds like crap, and Nate Dogg's verse sounds like he recorded it from a different planet. And by the time the song ends, you actually forget that Nate Dogg was even on the song. But I feel like this could have been an Ashanti and Ja Rule song more than a Mariah song. I mean, you could at least gave her a verse, but this song just ain't in. I had a negative reaction on first listen, skip it. This is originally a cover song by Sherelle, a song that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced. And since they were the main producers on this soundtrack, they did very little alterations. And I hate to say it, but Mariah does outshine the Sherelle version, only because Mariah is obviously the better vocalist. The bounciness is here, and both versions are fun. I could call this a win. And here's the second instant where Mariah is the featured guest on her own soundtrack, and this one features the disgraced rapper Mystical. And it barely features Mariah, but this one's an odd combination to a point where Mystical takes over the whole song. But there is one saving grace, and that's Mariah's ending riff, which is the same riff she used in the movie. And this is one where I understand if you skip because you want more Mariah, but at the same time, if you're into Mystical's cadence, you can go ahead and check it out. Just proceed with caution. This is one of the main songs featured in the movie. The content of this song is about Mariah is happy that she waited for the right one to come. But the only problem is a me problem. I can't take this song serious thanks to Silk's version sounding like a dying animal. But without that, Mariah doesn't do much wrong here. It's fine. I feel like I need to talk about this song with the context of the movie. Billie only had her mother growing up as she struggled to pay bills after losing her job, and the home that they were living in was caught on fire. And that's when her mother sent Billie away to a group home. And this was the inner thoughts that Billie was having. She wondered, did her mother even care for her at all? She said she could have gave up before her birth one way or another. The song itself might be one of Mariah's personal cuts, even though it's about a fictional character. If there's anything to go back to, it'd be this. Another collab where Mariah is more of the featured artist, but at least Mariah actually had a verse. But there's so much going on here. Fabulous opens up the song and he sounds like Mace, and that's a compliment because he was able to flow with the production. But there are some problems here. Number one, the chemistry with Busta Rhymes is wonky at times, and Busta, and might as well throw in DJ Clue in this conversation, sounds louder than Mariah. You could barely hear Mariah on the song. Two, the song is nearly 7 minutes long, and they could at least chopped off one of Busta's ad-lib verses. It's not a bad song. The production and groove is nice, with the bass being done by Randy Jackson, the guy who liked to say dog after every sentence. But chop off a verse, balance the vocal mixing, this could have been better. Featuring Eric Benet, and this one's a mess and it shouldn't be. The song features in the film where Billy wants to work with someone outside of Dice, and this is what they came up with. She chose to work with Raphael, who's played by Eric Benet, and this song they came up with is something. Content, well, Mariah's having a crush on Eric, who wouldn't, but is afraid to open up to him, and he comes in wondering why she hasn't said anything. But I think the biggest problem might be the production. I don't even think the Quiet Storm would want this production. It just leaves me feeling uneasy, one where I won't revisit. What should have been the closing song of this soundtrack, as this was the closing song for this movie. But back in context with the movie, her and Dice worked on this song unknowingly separately, but when they were trying to reunite, Dice dies thanks to Timmy, and during her performance, Billy cuts off Loverboy and tells her fans that if you love someone, never take them for granted, or something like that. The song is dedicated to Dice, and today for anyone who has lost someone very close. It's a good song, if not a great song. And this is going to be the last song I'm talking about in this video. Sure, Loverboy is the last song, but I've already talked about that song a couple times, and I don't want to feel like repeating myself from the opening track. But with Twister, I feel like this was a song that was played throughout the movie. However, the song doesn't have anything tied to it, but it said it's dedicated to her stylist who took her own life the year before. The song serves as a bit of a eulogy for said stylist, but Mariah knows that the only way she can say goodbye is through song. And it's a personal cut that would have fit on any other Mariah album, but Mariah knew the importance that this song needed to be on this album, and I don't have any major issues with this one. And that concludes this album review. I came into this album wanting to crap on it mostly because of Loverboy being a dud, but turned out, especially after second listen, this was better than anticipating. Sure, there were duds, but I think the heartfelt ballads did just enough to save the project, and I ended up with a 6 out of 10 ranking, which means sure it's her weakest one to date, but it could have been a lot worse. And yes, I'm being a little nice towards this project. Now our next album is Charm Bracelet, which is known for being the forgotten album, and that concludes the Glitter soundtrack review. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. What is your favorite song from Glitter? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.